What's up, everybody? Tim McDonough, Aim High Training Solutions, back with another Word Wednesday for you. This week, real simple, 2 letters. We're talking about we. Let's get into it. I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast a couple weeks ago, and he had Marcus Luttrell on there. For those of you who don't know, Marcus Luttrell is the real-life individual that the movie and the book, Lone Survivor, was made about. He has an amazing story. He has just an absolutely incredible, heroic survival story about being in the war, and him and his team get caught up, and the book is called Lone Survivor because he's the only person in his team that makes it home. And it took a lot, and our country lost a lot, making sure that he does get to come home. And when you hear him talk, when you listen to him speak, whether it be about that time or just in general, you can hear the weight of that is on him at all times. But he still goes, he still pushes, he still gets along every day, he still uses his story to try and motivate people, to try and encourage other people to not back down from their obstacles and to achieve. He was on the Rogan podcast, and he kept saying this phrase that was like really cool for me to hear somebody like him saying it. So Joe Rogan, I'm sure everybody knows who he is, but he's a comedian, he's a UFC commentator, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he was a competitive fighter back in his early 20s. He's a bad dude in his own right. Marcus Luttrell and him were having a conversation. They were talking about, just like society and things like that, normal conversation that you'll hear on the Joe Rogan podcast. And Marcus Luttrell kept saying to Joe Rogan, guys like you and me, people like us, we, right? Those things. And it's like, how do you think Joe Rogan feels in that moment? I mean, Joe Rogan is not unaware of what Marcus Luttrell has lived through and what he's done, right? He's a Navy SEAL who's been through the worst of the worst, and he's come out on the other side of that. So when Marcus Luttrell is saying, like, guys like us, people like us, we, and just continuously using phrases like that when he's talking to Joe Rogan, how do you think Joe feels? To me, if me and Marcus Luttrell are having a conversation and he's using terminology like that with me, I feel empowered by that. You're looking at me as an equal. Marcus Luttrell is looking at Joe Rogan as an equal. And this is not to knock Joe Rogan at all, right? The guy is fantastic. The guy is amazing. Like I said earlier, he is a bad dude in his own right. He has worked his butt off. He's real. He's real. So this is in no way to say Joe Rogan is lesser of a person. And this is actually the point that I'm trying to get to. Marcus Luttrell just keeps everything he talks about, he's just including Joe Rogan as an equal of him. It was amazing to hear, and hearing it from somebody of that stature, hearing a Navy SEAL talk to somebody who's never served in the military on that level is eye-opening when it comes to leadership or how to mentor people. So the definition of we is used by a speaker to refer to himself or herself as well as another individual, right? So it groups you with somebody else. So when you say we, you are bringing somebody else into your circle. So think about that. Think about the way Marcus Luttrell talks to people. He uses we, people like us, our group, our people. And he talks about everybody in that way, right? It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, foreign from another country, international, Middle Eastern, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're here living strong, living a good life, Marcus Luttrell is looking at you as a we. You are just like him in his eyes. So how do you do that in your work center? How do you do that in your area of operation? There are things that you are extraordinarily capable at. There are also things that you are not extraordinarily capable at, right? I'm aware of it myself. I know that there are a lot of things that I'm very good at, but I also know there are a lot of things that I'm very bad at. But how do you utilize the things you're good at to bring other people up, to create a we around that thing that you're excellent at? So for me, I found ways to take the skills that I enjoy, and I found ways to teach them, right? So I enjoy martial arts. I consider myself proficient in martial arts. So I started teaching martial arts. I got a combative certification in the Air Force so that I could teach it to members of the military, or teach the system that they have. I teach in the community. I've spent several years doing that. And it was awesome because it gave me the opportunity to bring people into something that I'm good at. I got to include other people with me, and I got to share and watch other people go on that journey with me. Aircraft maintenance in the military, I am fairly proficient at that, and I got picked up to be an instructor, which means now I get to share my knowledge with the other people and get to start including others in that we. So that's how I do it. I found ways to take the things that I am good at and share them with other people, include them in that. So how are you doing it? You are exceptional at something. You are great at something. You may not have found it yet, but one day you will. Once you figure out what you're exceptional at, once you've put the work in to become one of the best at that thing, how are you going to share your greatness with somebody else? How are you going to create the we? And that's what we got to do. We got to go out, be exceptional at something, and then find a way to utilize our exceptionalism to bring other people in, and then bring other people up. And then we can all be great. So that's the word of Wednesday. We. Apply it. See what you can do. See who you can get included into the things you do great. Aim high.